have been concerned about the clashes between the DA and Cosatu. Viewers at home would like to know what your thoughts are about this, because actually it is one of the ideas coming out of the ANC. The DA is saying, please push it forward, and Cosatu doesn't want anything to do with it. And it ended up in violence. Your thoughts on what's happened this week?
Well, firstly, as I've just said here, we are a democratic country. Protest is a constitutional point. We cannot have a country that when people feel aggrieved, they cannot protest. They've got a constitutional right to express themselves. But we have repeatedly said that right must not interfere with other people's rights. You can't, because you are protesting, then you interrupt the rights of other people, the normal life of business, you destroy property, you trash the roads. That is unacceptable. It is also not acceptable that you become violent to other people who have a different view from yourself. We are a country that has been born out of very intense negotiations. And we believe that engaging, discussing, produces solutions. You cannot produce solutions by actually fighting those who disagree with you. So we condemn the violence, particularly that took place. And it's an unfortunate trend. We don't want this, that when people are protesting, then that should be seen as the battlefield is wrong. So both sides are wrong. You don't do it. I think the protest should be allowed to take its course until it is complete. If, for an example, protesters have a petition to submit, I think that should be allowed so that you know what they're saying. Now, see, if you protest, you normally hand over the petitions. Why don't you allow other people to hand over the petition to you? It's part of a democratic process. That's what I think we should encourage. And therefore, we do not accept what happened. I think it's a bad example, and I hope it is not going to be repeated again. With regard to the issue that caused the problem, well, that's part of democracy, ingredients of democracy. The issue is being attended to in reality. As you know, this issue has been raised, was raised by us. I raised it in one of my State of the Nation address, and the Minister of Finance has raised the issue. The matter, in fact, is before NETLEC. All the social partners are discussing the matter. Under normal circumstances, you would have said there is no need for any protest. But of course, if the protest says, please hurry up, whatever, this is democracy, you could do it. But the matter is receiving attention at the very appropriate level at the NETLEC. And we will come to some understanding because it is a challenge. We are faced with two kinds of views. One that says, if you did what there is being protested for, you will be undermining the decent jobs. But what do you do? Because the numbers of the young people who are qualifying at universities, highly skilled, they can't get employment because companies want experience. So what do you do? It's a matter that needs to be discussed and agreed. I don't think it's a matter that needs samples to go high.
So you're confident that there's a compromise on the way?
There should be.
That Cosatu and DA, yourselves, and business can sit with?
No. I'm saying it's being discussed at NETLEC.
Okay.
NETLEC, we are not politicking about the issue.
Okay.
We are discussing that we should find a solution.
All right.
Let us not politic about it. That's the point I'm making.
All right. All right. Mr. President, what we're going to try and do now is take some calls directly from our viewers. And I believe we've got Nontebe, who's in KwaZulu-Natal, and she's on the line now. Nontebe, if you could put your question to the President and be as brief as, Nontebeko actually, if you could be as brief as possible. You're on the program live now.
Yebo. Yes. Hello?
Hello?
Yebo.
Yes, you can speak and speak loudly, Nontebeko.
Hello? Hello? Yebo.
Khuluma ntombazane silalele.
Yebo. Igama lami nguNontobeko Mbokazi. Manje sinenkinga siyahlupheka ekhaya nalokhuphini. Asinawo umuntu. Engangokuba masishonelwe ekhaya asikwazi nokungcwaba ngoba phela isihlala emzini womuntu asikwazi ukwenza umlindelo ngoba sihlala emzini womuntu. Waleyo mkhukho siyarenta kuwona. Imali asinayo impilo yasekhaya iqhubeka imile. Siyacela uhulumeni asisize asakhele indawo yokuhlala. Yebo.
All right. Did you hear that question? Okay.
Siyabonga Nontobeko. Uhlala maphi konje nendawo Nontobeko? Uthe uhlala phi? Okay. Kulungile ke sizwile. Nontobeko says they're a poor family, they're renting an informal shack in somebody's yard. They have difficulties, they cannot even mourn properly or grieve if there's a death. So they're asking government to help to build them a house. I think this is a very touching request that is being made by this young lady. I would imagine that that should touch many of us here who have the means. I have something I do with my little foundation. I've helped individuals that have come, individuals that, whilst there are programs of government that are trying to address the challenges and the plight of the poor people, but they cannot reach them now in terms of the programs, but they're in desperate positions. And I've done a few of them, and I would imagine since this request has come, we will be in a position to do so, all of us here, because I think is one issue that we can tackle, is an issue that those who have got the means can do something about. I will really make an appeal here, because I meet this kind of requests all the time as I interact with people. This is a desperate situation, needing some help, needing the good hearts.
All right. I think it's clear that every province, businesses have an opportunity to help with this call. And we're just wondering if there's anybody here who perhaps might want to respond to what the President is saying and this call for help. How can business respond? Is there anybody here who perhaps might want to just comment further on the request that the President has made to you to assist with the plight of the many across our country? If you could just say your name and make your comment.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Nazim Hawa. I'm Chief Executive of New Age. Mr. President, we listened to that plea. I think it's one of many, many around the country that needs to be addressed. I think as New Age, we're now 18 months old. We're at the stage where we have to think of a broader business, and we need to think very carefully about our involvement in society generally. For the past few months, we've been talking about forming some kind of foundation that can offer immediate help to those in need. I'm going to undertake today, Mr. President, to work very hard and to offer you to hold me accountable in the next 3 months to have a foundation up and running that can react very quickly to such causes. At this stage, New Age will put in an initial injection of 1 million rand to get that foundation going.
All right. Any comments at all from local businesses here in the Free State, perhaps Bloemfontein, Mangaung, that like to perhaps offer some ideas even on how this particular issue could be tackled? We have a full room of distinguished people here, and I can tell by the quality of your suits that you are people of means.
There's a hand there.
Okay, there's a hand over there. If you could stand up, the microphone will come to you, and if you could just identify yourself and make your comment. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We have also heard that call. I think listening to that young lady, making that plea and understanding where we come from. You know, as black people, we grew up in a society where really we could not even afford to have our own proper homes and all that. Now, in this current juncture, and today, in the face of this democracy, we cannot sit down as business people and allow this sort of issues to unfold. We will, from the Free State, I will also donate 250,000 rands to the New Age and the foundation of the President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so I'm not going to put you on the spot any further. And I know that a lot of you would like to donate anonymously and quietly. The foundation the President has set up will be very grateful for the billions that you're going to be donating. And all the people at home as well can participate as well. Okay, look, let's go to Soweto now. And I think Caesar is on the line. Caesar?
Good morning. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, President.
Ask your...
my name is Caesar. I'm calling from... Can I talk? My name is Caesar. I'm calling from an association called African Panel Beaters and Motor Mechanics Association in Soweto. We have grouped a lot of guys from the backyard mechanics. Now, we've got a problem in terms of accessing the procurement on all the three spheres of government, because we have set up a project that we call it mobile workshops for the informal guys in order to bridge the gap between the formal and informal motor mechanics. Now, we want to know how can the President and the private business help us? The private business help us.
Okay. All right. I think he's got a project. This seems to be a common theme where a lot of people have come up with ideas and they've got projects that they think that will help create jobs and help the youth. And he's saying, how can you, as the President and as government, assist them to be able to help other people?
That's the part I also heard. How can government and business? Don't leave them. They were also mentioned. No, thank you very much for that comment. I think it's a very, very useful comment. This is what we need. People who are not sitting back. People who stand up, do initiatives. And I'm sure you'll recall that when we were in the Eastern Cape, there was a similar situation where people are trying to do something, but are not able to find the doors to knock to. And this is an unfortunate thing. In fact, I would suggest that his name is Peter as well, not so.
Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah.
Sorry to give him your name.
Okay, it's a common name.
It's Caesar. If Caesar could give us the particulars, because that looks to me as an issue that needs to be linked with some government departments that are there to help such people to move forward. So I think that should be done. If he could give us details, I think the matter will be attended to quickly.
All right. Okay. Caesar, I hope that answers your question. All right, let's start getting some questions from the audience that's here. Let's go to table number 28. I think Mike, is that Mike Molloy? What the President is saying, and this call for help. How can business respond? Is there anybody here who perhaps might want to just comment further on the request that the President has made to you to assist with the plight of the many across our country? If you could just say your name and make your comment.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Nazim Hawa. I'm Chief Executive of New Age. Mr. President, we listened to that plea. I think it's one of many, many around the country that needs to be addressed. I think as New Age, we're now 18 months old. We're at the stage where we have to think of a broader business, and we need to think very carefully about our involvement in society generally. For the past few months, we've been talking about forming some kind of foundation